Ramaphosa. Desiree, you'd recall when President Cyril Ramaphosa, who is the commander-in-chief, had basically seen off the team that was going to Wuhan City. They indicated these were volunteers and men and women who had come forward, who said they want to be part of the team who is going to go and fetch these South Africans, despite the circumstances, despite the multiple risks. They were the ones who put themselves forward and said that they were the ones who were going to participate in this task. Desiree, maybe I could slip in a bit of a joke there. I heard one of the media colleagues earlier this week say perhaps those men and women who went to Wuhan City deserve a national order. So for the patriotic duty that they have embarked on, they too, of course, will receive care going forward, because, of course, they've gone to an area where they, of course, were put at great risk, but a great risk to go and pick up more than 120 South Africans, more than 120 South Africans. And of course that then, gives you an indication of perhaps the kind of duty that these men and women had to embark on. So we're still live here now, perhaps, Desiree, I would say about 5 to 7 minutes away from our intended destination at the ranch itself, where, of course, we will not be allowed. And I'm sure as we head towards that destination, I think I heard my colleague Sophie Mokoena indicate that there are some areas around there where the media is not allowed. So I would presume we'll be pushed back quite far from where exactly they are. The media won't be allowed anywhere near that. And obviously, as the media, we've got to respect that, because the entire area itself is under lockdown and is under military control. So we've got to respect that protocol as well. So all the reports, I guess, that we'll give you after they then go through those gates at the ranch resort would be quite far away from the resort itself. But live pictures once again. The convoy much in front of us there. We'll try to get to the front as much as possible. Here again, you will see on the side towards my right-hand side, Desiree, again coming across another roadblock here to ensure that there is a smooth movement of this convoy right here. The traffic brought to a standstill here towards my right until this convoy manages to pass through this particular area. So you would see also some of the traffic officials. They've got protective gear on as well. I hope you managed to get that as we passed through there. And Desiree, at this point, I think a sense of pride, definitely from the part of those who had managed this evacuation process, and a sense of hope from the families of those whose loved ones are here, and a sense of relief from the South Africans who are now back at home. And I'm sure we're going to hear many stories over the next couple of weeks, of course, after that 21 days, about the experience that they had in those countries. I heard yesterday, while I was speaking to the MEC of Health here in Limpopo, Phophi Ramathuba, she indicated that, those who were basically saying that these South Africans, should not be allowed back into the country, we must recall that some of these South African students are in those countries to acquire skills that this country needs. So to shut them out and to leave them there while there have been widespread calls for them to be brought back to the country, government saying that would be unfair, and to demonstrate the highest level of patriotism and care for its citizens, the best thing to do would be to go and evacuate them in Wuhan City. So close to about 80 of them, Desiree, I stand to be corrected in terms of those numbers. I certainly do know that those were some students who were at the university in Hubei province, and they had been under lockdown there for over a month. And while I was having conversations with them over that period as SABC News, they were indicating the hardship that they had been through during that entire period, and all they simply wanted to do was to come home. They just needed to be back on South African soil to ensure that it doesn't matter what happens, they are able to be with their loved ones and ensure that whatever care and perhaps health care that they need, they will be able to be given that by the South African government. But we must reiterate once again, Desiree, that government has consistently pointed out that all these South Africans who are now en route in those buses to the ranch resort are individuals who government is happy with in terms of their health status, and that none of them are ill at this time. So right now, Desiree, we're headed towards, we're on one of the main highways here, the main freeways, as we head towards the ranch resort. Counting the police convoy, I would say perhaps now there are about maybe 14 vehicles, police vehicles that are here, plus minus. My corrections might not be 100% correct. All right, Desiree, we're going to give it a breather for a second. Stay on our visuals, and we'll come back to you very shortly.
We come out of that conversation with Criselda Lewis, who is tracking the 4 buses that are transporting South Africans who returned from Wuhan City this morning. A big conversation in South Africa. The minister in the presidency, Jackson Mthembu, during the week following the cabinet Lekgotla, urging South Africans not to try and go to the quarantine site, saying it will defeat the purpose of isolating South African citizens. Let's go live now to our foreign editor, Phophi Mokoena, who is on the R101. And Phophi?
Okay. 5 minutes. Well, thank you so much, Desiree. Yes, we are still here at R101 waiting for the buses to pass here. But with me, I have the MEC of Health, Dr. Phophi Ramathuba, who is going to speak to us about what's going to happen at the ranch, but generally the issues here in Limpopo where people have raised concerns around the communication. MEC, the day has arrived. Any minute from now, we'll see those 4 buses. How do you feel? Are you still nervous?
Of course, we can never say we are not nervous. We'll remain nervous until after 21 days. What we want to emphasize here is to say there should not be a confusion to say people of Limpopo are not friendly people. We are welcoming all of them. They are our brothers, they are our sisters, they are our children. They deserve to be in their country, in their mother country, which is South Africa, and Limpopo is part of South Africa. We had all those questions that, as you have indicated, ministers were here through the week. They've clarified the issues of communications has been clarified. Everybody now it's rallying behind this project, and we are saying they've already landed, as you have indicated. They are in transit to the Ranch Hotel. From the next today up to the next 21 days, they will be citizens of this province. The Premier has already pronounced on that matter to say we'll be working together with our national minister to make sure that this quarantine becomes an incident free.
As a clinician, needs to happen when they arrive there.
I think what people must really appreciate is that quarantine is just to isolate you, to say, look, you are not sick now. You don't have any flu-like symptoms. You have not tested positive for corona, but we want to take precautionary measure. We know that the incubation period of this virus can take up to 14 days. So give us that 14 days so that this virus can show up itself. Because if we allow you to go and it starts showing itself when you are home, you might have by that time contacted other people. So what will happen is they are going to be checked in their own rooms.
And can you move out of the shot? I can see the convoy is about to come, but we can continue with our discussion.
So we are saying they are going to be placed in those rooms. They will be checked in their rooms when they arrive. They are going to be read the riot acts, the do's and the don'ts when you are being isolated, how they must conduct themselves, so that none of them, if there's anyone who is infected, must not infect any of those ones who are not. So we have gone through also the issues that we were concerned about, the staff debriefing, the training of the staff. Yesterday we did all that with the minister, and all the concerns that the staff had, minister did address all those. So we think now we are ready. Everybody is ready, and we know we are praying. Nothing wrong must happen, because these are our people. We must remember that if the Chinese people can take care of our own, who are we not to take care of our own?
MEC, you have a number of compatriots who accompanied them. They went there. The Defence Force, Health and others, particularly SAA, the pilots. Your message to those volunteers?
For us honestly, as a citizen, firstly as a citizen, I must say we are really touched to say you've got those citizens, those South Africans who are indeed patriots, who understand the spirit Satumamina, that when our commander-in-chief says looking for someone to send, and they voluntarily stand up and say we are going. So we are saying really those are South Africans that must be celebrated. Not only them, even the staff at the range, those who are there, who will be looking after them throughout these 21 days. We must also, credit must also go to them. It's not an easy task. If someone who is in Guyana is worried about corona at the range, but somebody says, I will be there, I'm going to sit with this person and fly all the way from China to here.
MEC, here are the buses. Here are our compatriots arriving. Precautionary measures, you can see they are there. They are waving. They are happy. They are very happy. Welcome home.
Also excited that you can see here are Limpopo people. Ordinary citizens are waving. They are welcoming them home. So it means that indeed, the spirit of Ubuntu in Limpopo does exist. We're saying to all of them, welcome home. Welcome to the People's Garden of Eden. That is Limpopo for you.
I can see you are very emotional.
Yes, I am emotional. This has been a difficult time for all of us. This is a test. If we are able to go through this, we'll through any other challenges that face us. But what I've realized is that we've received messages from across. It's not only the negative messages, but messages of support from others in other provinces. So we are saying to the people of Limpopo, to the people of South Africa, we are emotional. Honestly, I can be honest with you. This is an emotional. Also, at the same time, Sophie, me and you are mothers. Me and you are parents. What is going through the minds of the parents of their children when they have been quarantined far away from home? But you can see, even if they are quarantined here in Limpopo, someone who is in Free State or KZN, the parent who is there will be definitely worried. But that's why we want to reassure them that your children are now at home. They are back in Muzanzi. They will be taken care of. And after 21 days, you will be able to see your children.
MEC, let's talk about coronavirus. As a country, what must we do to minimize the risk?
I think as the message from the minister and also the interministerial committee, that really we have got now to step up our game. In the first, when we started, we were talking about someone who has visited China or the Hubei, the Wuhan city, which is the epicenter, and today we are talking about our own people in South Africa who have been infected. Today we are talking about the epicenter having shifted from China now to Europe, and we are saying how many of our citizens are in those countries, how many are passing our Tambo airport. Some even deviate, don't come through their regular flight, you have to change to try to bypass the system. I'm saying to South Africans, let's be patriot. Let's protect ourselves, our families, our loved one. If I know myself that I'm from Italy, when I land in OR Tambo, I've got to go and self-isolate, even if at the airport I'm told I do not have any symptom. If we can do, because the 24 cases that we have, all of them are coming from majority from European countries and the US, not coming from China. So we have been focusing on China, like you can see what we're doing. Our focus has been on China. We must change. The focus cannot be on China. When you see a Chinese, don't see coronavirus, because I've been dealing with situation where people are even discriminating when they see people. So we are saying, let's change and up our games. But the basics, hygiene, that we need to look into. The washing of hands in such a manner until people think you have got obsessive disorder, because you are always washing your hand just with water and soap. It will definitely go a long way.
South Africans, indeed, our compatriots are back in the country. They will undergo those processes. And I'm still with the MEC trying to make sense of this as a person who's very experienced in this issue. But MEC, how do we ensure that when people are being tested, we give the process chance so that those who are in a know-how can pronounce before we can talk about stigma? What must we do? The issue.
Yeah, I think what we need to first appreciate is that the center currently it's holding, and we must keep it in that way, that it is only the Minister of Health who can pronounce. Before, even if a case is from Limpopo or my province, I must allow that process of the minister to pronounce, because if we centralize it, we will be able to deal with everybody just pronouncing. Because some people even say, I was in Chirizini hospital, I was tested for corona. The testing is not done in Chirizini. The testing, we are centralizing it. Now the minister is working on finding a way on decentralizing, but still, even if it's being decentralized, let the center hold. But then the next thing is this one of discriminating. To say, look, before you start discriminating another person, what about yourself? Because you are not immune, you are a human being. You know, this is one, I'm talking to you right now. If I can be infected, as I'm talking now, because I'm emotional, my droplets from my mouth are spitting on you. And even sometimes you can go and scratch and they...
So we should be wearing masks?
No, we are not saying everybody, we have not reached the stage where everybody must wear mask. I'm just saying to those who are discriminating others, just because now you have got these buses, we have got these 114 that we know have been in a corona endemic area, but they've not tested positive. We're discriminating them. I might be a career, I might still be in my incubation period, but you me and be next to me. So this is one condition which does not discriminate. We have had prime ministers, heads of states are now testing positive. We have had ministers of health in the first world, UK with its own national health system, Iran. We've heard of that. So
Canada.
So who,
Mexico.
Exactly. So this is something that is affecting all of us. So I don't see a reason why should you start to discriminate another person. Let our energy, let our data that we have here in South Africa be used to spreading the message to say, how do we prevent and protect each other from getting this infection?
MEC, we seems to be focusing on China, as you have said, but we have countries, particularly in Europe, where we have number of South Africans, professionals and those who are there for training. Are we dropping the ball?
I think we need to be really honest. I was talking to one cousin of mine. He's currently in Netherlands now, asking me, what about him? I said, you must come and follow those strict measures. We need to isolate you when you come home. I'm not going to be closer to you. You might not be coming from China, but as long as you have been in Europe, as there's one who's coming from Germany, I'm saying, look, it's all about to say you have been in contact with someone who is still in incubation period. We don't know that. So when you arrive at home, we must do the self-isolation. So the message that we are trying to emphasize is to say the focus can't be in China anymore. We shouldn't be like that only. Let's deal with all those other. The WHO continue to update us to say now in Iran, this is what is currently happening. Now in Italy, this is currently what is happening. But unfortunately, our people are still so obsessed with China. Is it so easy to target China? That's why while we're busy, focused and so obsessed with that, that's in through our
I heard that some people are using other routes to get into South Africa.
That is possible. That is possible that they could be doing that. But our interministerial team, I can reassure you, they are on top of this game.
Is our intelligence up to the task?
I'm telling you, I trust my South African government. I trust the cabinet of President Matamela. They are on top of the game. They are busy in all the meetings that they have. We have a minister who is always updating us as his MECs. So time and again, he will be updating to say, there is this threat, there is that threat. This is how you must work on that. So I'm really convinced that we will beat this as South Africans.
And finally, Minister, MEC, your message. Ho batho ba Limpopo Moshate.
Batho ba rena ba Limpopo rena re a tsebahala re le batho ba lerato, batho ba botho, batho ba o rata batho. Ha o ka tsena ka motseng wa kong wa mo Limpopo ba o tlhabela kgogo, ba o yapeela yona le maotwana le mala yona ba reje o le tre o e fetse. Mamtla rena le bana ba borena ba o tswa di province tša o fapana ba tlile mo lefilong la rena la the ranch re a ba amogela ka gore ke maloloko a rena ka re ka rushaka rwa shura batho ba shwa Limpopo rena re batho ba rufuno re batho ba ufuna batho hezwi zwa usafunana a ne batho ba re batho ba ṅwali re bana ba mudzimu wa xiṅwali vana va xi vo swika va bva kha mavundu o fambana nawo ri do va tanganedza maḓuvha 21 a ḓaho va ḓo va ve vana vaxo hi ku ka n'wina vana va Limpopo kulu va Ngungunyana hi vanhu va rirhandzu
Va Sikhukhune.
hi rhandza vanhu hi rhandza vanhu vatukulu va Ngungunyana va Sikhukhune va Makhado hina rirhandzu vanhu lavawani va huma ka ti province ta ku hambahambana masiku la ya 21 va ta va ri vana va hina a hi va amukeli ti system ti kona ta ku va nga mixani na n'wina vanhu van'wanyana se all we are saying is that we are the people of love.
Thank you so much, MEC. That was the MEC of Health here in the province. I can tell you a number of South Africans. You know, if you were to look around here at the Shell garage, you know, people are beginning to converge here. It speaks to the spirit of the Limpopo people, the spirit of love. Khotso, Pula Nala, Moshate. Back to you, Desiree.
Thanks, Sophie. It's a big story that we've been covering this entire morning, the return of South Africans from Wuhan. That's it from me, and Flo Letwaba takes over from here. Flo?